All right, so here today we are going to be talking about the coordinate plane. Now, what's great about the coordinate plane is it is something that you have already talked about. Previously in 5th grade, you dealt with this little part of the coordinate plane, right? You were plotted, you made like pretty pictures, things like that. So if I take this nice big coordinate plane, now we're going to be dealing with the whole plane, not just one quadrant, but we're going to deal with all of these quadrants. I'm going to break it up and I'm going to show you how it becomes. So when you first started learning math long time ago, you dealt with this number line, right? You dealt with the right and left. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When, as you progressed, last year you dealt with your 0 and all of the numbers to the right of the number line. Then this year you got introduced to the other side of the number line, all of my negative numbers, right? So this coordinate plane brings up all of your different number lines. You've got your number line that goes right to left, and you have your number line that goes up and down. Does everybody see that? 2 number lines. Your right and left, your up and down. They each have their own name. Your very first one that you ever remember working with, your right and left, is called your x-axis. Your up and down is called your y-axis. Together, they make the what? Coordinate plane. All right, so let's put some notes in here. We're going to put notes underneath your flap. So go ahead and open up your flap. Mine doesn't quite bend up like it's supposed to, but that's okay. And underneath that flap, we are going to make some notes. I'm going to copy down the notes, allow you to copy them down, and then we'll continue on. Okay? So the first vocabulary word is coordinate plane. This is a plane divided into a grid by 2 number lines. The second vocabulary word that we're going to be talking about here is called quadrants. What is the prefix here that makes me tell me how many are going to be in there? Quad means what?
4.
4. Quad means 4. Very good. So my coordinate plane is divided into how many sections?
4.
4. Those are called quadrants. The 4 sections of the coordinate plane numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting at top right and going counterclockwise. All right, if we come back to the front. So now we know what the coordinate plane is and what the quadrants are. And you notice that my definitions for the quadrant is the 4 sections of the coordinate plane numbered, these weird numbers, starting at top right and going counterclockwise. Now, it is very important that when we label our quadrants, that we use these Roman numerals. I'm not asking you to know any other Roman numerals except for these 4. These are the only 4 Roman numerals that you have to learn. And if you do not use these Roman numerals when identifying the quadrants, it will be counted wrong. Does everybody understand that? Yes, so when we refer to quadrant 1, we will use the quadrant, we will use the word quadrant and then the Roman numeral 1. Quadrant 2 is Roman numeral 2. If you need to write underneath here what these stand for, a number 1, a number 2, a 3, and a 4, then do that. It might be beneficial to you. All right, so here is our coordinate plane. We've already talked about the 2 number lines that make up my coordinate plane. Now let's talk about our quadrants. The very first quadrant that you ever learned about was this one right here, correct? Yes. So this is quadrant 1. This is the top right hand. Then we go counterclockwise, which is away from the way that the clock ticks. There's Roman numeral quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and then quadrant 4. Everybody see that? Now, one way that I remember this is when what letter does coordinate plane start with? C. C. When I write the letter C, I start here and I bring it around, right? Yes. That's how I remember which way to number my quadrants. Because this is probably right here, the biggest mistake that most of the kids make is they want to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's always got to start with the first quadrant that you learned about. Okay? Yes, no? Yes. All right. So now let's talk about our X and our Y axis, and then we'll break and continue on when we get back. So our X axis is the very first one that we learned about, and that's the one that goes right to left. Yes? Yes. This is called the horizontal axis. And then my y-axis is my up and down, which would be what? Vertical. And I like to draw my little boxes here because it bugs me. So my x-axis or my y-axis is my vertical axis. And to help myself, always remember the difference between vertical and horizontal. Remember, Miss Armstrong is not short. She is what? Vertically challenged. Vertically meaning height. I don't like to tell people that I'm short. When people ask me how tall are you, I say, well, I'm not short, I'm vertically challenged. Get it? Vertically is up and down. Yeah. So that's how I remember, okay, if I remember up and down is vertical, then I know the other one is going to be horizontal, right? Okay, so we'll go ahead and break.